to the ME channel, Metaphysical Entities. I'm your host, Greg Smith. Thank you for being here today as we delve through the fundamental principles of life and personal experiences. Our mantra is life is a mystery to unravel, but never a problem to solve. As we realize there's always a resolution because problems are forever invented. Today's topic: isn't it true? Before I go into today's topic, I'm going to tell you how I came up with it. I was thinking about the word energy. Energy can't be created and it can't be destroyed. So I said, okay, that's true. So let me delve into some things about energy and truth. So, but before I go into isn't it true, the word energy came to play. So, by energy coming to play, I'm like, energy is always fluid in its creations and in manifesting things. That's what energy do. Because in the midst of manifesting, it formulates a process that put together the right ingredients and substances that ignites what we call manifestation. For an example, if we was to plant an apple seed and an orange seed, how does the energetic soul know what to grow? What's the process of it? How does it determine to grow the apple or the orange? The process of what to grow is in the minerals. The soil determines what was planted and what to manifest. So I thought about that. So me being who I am, I say, okay, if the soil determines to what how it formulates its ingredients together to make an orange and an apple, because it has to separate, because if it generated the same energetic minerals and stuff from the soil to each one of them, there'll be no difference. So the difference is one is an orange and one is an apple. So I thought about it. I said, okay, by me sitting here talking, it came up with, okay, just like my brain and words. The many words that we all know, it's a process within our brain, whereas though we formulate what we're going to say and how we're going to say it. So I compare that analogy with the soil between the orange and the apple, because none of us going to say the exact same thing at the exact same time and come up with the same effect. It's different. So energy It remains fluid and constant in its actions and its reactions to produce. This process is a construction of creation throughout the universe, internally and externally, because energy protrudes its diligence from the surrounding particles, chemical bases, and surfaces to conclude and continually manifest to us, through us, and including us. Because we generate the same effects. And how we manifest, we using vibrations, frequencies, motions, and substances. Whereas in this case, I asked a question, which is today's topic. Isn't it true? Right? Let's delve into this together and see what answer we may can come up with. All right? I'm going to use the word lie. Can we say a lie isn't true? Let's go into it again. Because today's topic is, isn't it true? And I gave you an example of the orange and the apple and how we use our brains to put these words together and how energy works. So can we say a lie isn't true? Why do we have confidence in knowing when a lie is a lie? Isn't it true that we feel that way? Can we say that everything that happens is not true? I'll repeat these things because I'm going to show you how these things fuse together. So, isn't it true? Can we say that everything that happens is not true? If it happened and we record it, isn't it true? We record it, right? How can we say something is false or a lie without examining the origin of its nature? Don't we have to examine some kind of facts to determine if something's a lie? Isn't it true that we have to do that? Or do we just say it's a lie because we want to? Think about that. When we say somebody a lie or this is a lie, we examine the facts to determine that it's a lie. Isn't it true? All right, think about that for a second. All right. Think about it for 1 second. How can we say something is false or a lie without examining it? Huh? Don't we have to examine some kind of facts again to determine a lie? All right. I'm going to give you another example. If I say 2 and 2 is 4, whereas words can get misconstrued. They can get unheard, unrecognized, and not readily understood. Whereas again, I'm going to say this. If I say 2 and 2 is 4, is that true? Whereas 2 and 2 is not 4. But 2 plus 2 equals 4. Isn't it true? If life failed us or supported us in any endeavor, that we recognize the feeling of it, isn't it true we endured it? Whether we liked it or not, or whether we want to or not, isn't it true? In this case, liberation becomes our advocate, opposed to traditional social roles that we might engage in. Because, again, I used the word lie earlier. We were lied to. It's things that we do on a regular basis because we didn't learn the proper technique or the proper way to do things or to say things, because a lie always sound better. So if somebody told you the truth, you wouldn't believe them because the lie sounded better, because we was programmed that way. I just showed you on an example on 2 and 2 is 4. The average person would say yes. But it's not. Isn't it true? Because 2 plus 2 is 4. So, isn't it true you are an individual who could think on your own? Isn't it true? Isn't it true you had a right to understand that loving yourself first will attract and teach you to love others? Isn't it true? My message is simple today. Isn't it true that everything that happens in your life, whether you believe it or not, whether it's true or false, good or bad, positive or negative, it happened to you? Isn't it true? Because if it wasn't true, how did you come up with a conclusion to label something as what you thought was either good or bad, positive or negative, or true or false? You still have to examine. You have to examine and come up with what you determine whether you think was good or bad, back or forth, up or down, positive or negative. As I said in the beginning when I talked about the orange and the apple, and how the minerals through the soil, which is energy, the energetic energy through the soil, because everything is energy. And just like the words we use through the vibrations, and I talked about the frequencies that we formulate through our thought process from our brain. It works the same way. And if it didn't happen, you wouldn't have believed it anyway. You wouldn't have took homage to it, or you wouldn't have tried to rescue yourself from it. Isn't it true? Because I say you rescue yourself from it because you had to formulate and come up with a decision to label something what you think it really is. Whether it's something that's, again, true or false, good or bad, or positive or negative. I want y'all to think about that. Play this back if you have to. Because anything we endure, resonate with, whether it's a thought or an action or reaction or whatever, isn't it true that we went through it? Everything that happens is true first. Because, again, liberation becomes our advocate. The truth in everything. The truth that you spoke. The truth that you went to sleep. The truth that you woke up. Anything you engage yourself in life is true before you can make a determination of what you wanted to do. Is it true you got up to go to work? Yes, if you work. So remember today's topic. Isn't it true? If you stay in a realm of liberating yourself, things will be much simpler, much easier, much peace. You'll have more peace. Things will be more peaceful because we formulate what we believe is true or false, whether it's good or bad, whether it's positive or negative. We formulate those things by examining something, someone, or somewhere, or somehow. So, as I say before I leave every show, don't consider nothing to be true by believing it. Know it to be true by direct cognition. Because whatever process takes place is taking place and it's true that it was examined and for you to labor it, whether it's a process or not. Thank you and have a good day.